it's time to shift our focus to today's sponsor, Axon, who will be delivering an insightful presentation. Joining us for today's presentation is Stefan Sherman, Director of Sales for Axon Canada. Stefan, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maria. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of today's InterOp Canada conference. It's a privilege to be on here as well with my friend and former colleague, Lance Valcor. Happy birthday to you, sir. My focus for today is going to be on how technologies like our cameras, how they've evolved over the years to provide more than just evidence capture capabilities, but now how they can also support your agencies with some of your needs around real-time and incident command standpoint. My name is Stefan Sherman, and I'm the Director of Sales for Axon Public Safety Canada. My primary role is to work with partners and with partners in public safety across the country to really understand their needs and help facilitate the process of evaluating and deploying some of our various technologies. And some of those I'm going to talk about today. One of our overarching mission at Axon is to protect life. This drives everything we do. It drives all of the innovation we do. It drives our product design, and then the functionality that we ultimately deliver to our partners in public safety. Now, many of you are probably familiar with the TASER, our conducted energy device, which is a big part of that mission. And then another aspect is our body-worn cameras, which are key technology that we also provide to protect your members by capturing the truth. Now, when I joined Axon, which was over 7 years ago now, our body-worn cameras were very different back then compared to what they look like today. And they've really evolved pretty dramatically since that time. Looking back to 2015, 2016, our Axon Flex 2 camera was a great option that could be mounted on anywhere on the uniform or in different locations. It provided a really good point of view type of experience. Our Axon Body 2 camera was a huge success and could easily be mounted typically on the center of an officer's uniform to capture all of the evidence that was required. Then in 2019, we had the wild and crazy idea to put LTE in our cameras, which provided not only location awareness, but also allowed agencies to live stream from virtually any different location from their camera. Now, if you remember back to that time around 2019 or not in 2019, there was a lot happening. There was a lot of civil unrest, a lot that agencies were having to deal with. And our live streaming platform, Axon Respond, that's tied to those cameras, was used by several major cities and agencies to help with the efficient and effective deployment of resources during that period, which was a huge benefit in dealing with some of the pretty difficult situations at that time. Our next generation camera, the Axon Body 4, which will be available in Canada in early 2024, and is what I'm going to focus on today. I'll go into some of the more details around some of the game-changing features of the Axon Body 4, but one of the important aspects is the POV attachment. So what this means to you is that you don't need to choose between two different camera platforms. Essentially, and as an example, an officer can wear the Axon Body 4 camera during their normal shift. And then if they are called out for any tactical duties, they can simply add the attachment or attach the POV camera to that same Axon Body 4 without having to completely swap out to a different platform. So really, really effective way of providing the best of both worlds. We're pretty excited. And let's take a look at some of the other key features, starting with how we help to capture evidence with the Axon Body 4. One of the things we know is that about 80% of police encounters happen within a matter of 2 meters. So we built the camera to automatically focus in at close ranges and really provide a crystal clear picture and very wide point of view or field of view at any time of day to make sure that we're capturing the best evidence possible. With the Axon Body 4, we've also made some big improvements to battery life, which means members have peace of mind knowing that they're going to be covered for their entire shift And then all of the real-time support found in our previous generation, the Axon Body 3, is also available with the Axon Body 4, but now with two-way communications. And I'm going to talk more on that in a minute. The Axon Body 4 is a super secure device. It has end-to-end encryption of the data from the moment evidence is captured on the device through to when it's uploaded to our cloud-based repository, all the way to when it's ultimately shared with the Crown. And then throughout that entire life cycle, we capture a detailed tamper-proof audit trail to show exactly what's happened with that evidence through the course of its lifetime. This is an example of one of the enhancements to video quality with the Axon Body 4. We have a pretty advanced imaging team here at Axon, and one of the things that they helped us to understand is how the human eye works and how best to capture video to mimic that as closely as possible. And so when you think about how you see, you really do see a lot vertically and not just on your peripheral. And so we wanted to make sure that we provided you an option to capture more vertical image. So now you've got an option to capture at 16:9, which is the image you see on the left, as well as the new 4:3 ratio, where you're going to capture a lot more of the vertical image. Why that's important is if you're wearing a camera on your chest and someone's very close to you, you want to be able to capture most of their body, especially their face, during that interaction. This gives you that ability to do that. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the real-time capabilities of our cameras. One of the most important features of the Axon Body 4 is that it gives you access to real-time two-way communications. And so we've added a new button to the side of our camera. You can kind of see there where the officer's pressing that button. And when that's pressed, it starts a recording on the camera, and then it sends a request back to command that allows authorized users to view that live stream and communicate in real time with that officer. So essentially, when an officer presses that button, what they're doing is saying, hey, I'm in a critical situation. I need some additional support. Please watch me. And then the command is able to live stream directly from that camera. This is going to open up a ton of exciting possibilities, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But some of the important aspects of this is that you're now entirely hands-free. So you're not having to actually reach up and press buttons to have that conversation. Everything has happened hands-free. So the officer can really focus on what's in front of him from an officer safety standpoint. So in terms of examples, imagine as a first example, a situation where an officer is trying to de-escalate a situation with someone who's undergoing a mental health crisis. In those situations, often you need a mental health expert to help coach that officer through the situation. So instead of having that mental health practitioner physically drive across the city or having them use a phone to communicate with the officer, which is cumbersome, now we can give that mental health professional access to our software so they can speak directly to that officer and coach them through the situation in real time, which means a much more scalable and effective approach to deal with these types of mental health calls. Many of you work in diverse communities where your officers have to interact with people who maybe don't speak English. And so another example would be to use live streaming to provide real-time translation services and avoid situations from escalating because nobody could understand the person in crisis. These are just a few of the examples of why we think this feature is going to be a game changer. And I'm sure we'll see a whole host of other innovative use cases as more and more agencies start to deploy the Axon Body 4 once it's available. When it comes to live streaming, it's more than just with or for body-worn cameras. Our other capture devices like the Axon Body 3, Axon Fleet 3, our in-car camera system, and Axon Air with our drones can also live stream. So from an incident command or emergency response perspective, you now have much greater perspective and increased situational awareness to make more informed decisions during these critical incidents. And so we bring all of this information together on a single pane of glass in both a mobile app as well as a browser application for your desktop, so you can see multiple streams at a time and from any of those different devices. Then with our partnership with Fusus, you're now able to not only take those feeds from drones and in-car cameras and body-worn cameras, but now you can also combine those with third-party CCTV feeds from across your community, providing a single solution to consolidate all of your various data sources on a single pane of glass for even greater awareness. Okay, in addition to some of the innovative capabilities I just talked about with the Axon Body 4, we're also continuing to invest and make advancements in AI-based solutions that are tied directly to some of our cameras. For example, with Fleet 3, our in-car camera system, we took a really different approach to ALPR. So instead of building a system with exterior cameras like traditional ALPR systems, we have used a combination of camera sensors and AI-based software to continuously scan and read license plates and match those with an agency-defined hot list. And because this is integrated with our in-car camera system, what it means to you is you end up with a much more scalable and affordable ALPR solution that provides you with significantly greater coverage throughout your community. Then with both the Axon Body 3 and Body 4, we can in real time transcribe the audio from the camera and then instantly send that over the air, so that by the time the officer gets back to their vehicle, they can use the resulting transcript to help automate the report writing process. And this is something we're working on now. We're using something called generative AI to build this. And we think that's going to have a massive impact on both officer safety as well as efficiency when it comes to report writing. And then finally, we're also looking at using and leveraging AI in other areas, like making it a lot easier to search through all of the mountains of video evidence that many agencies are capturing to look for important keywords that might maybe help with your compliance efforts. All right, so let's look at a few examples of how some of these different technologies can be used for incident command or emergency response situations. There are a whole host of areas where our technologies can help, including the 4 that you see here. I'm not going to go into all of these in detail, I just don't have time, but what I'd like to do is just walk through an example scenario so you can see where and how our technologies can help in some of these different situations. So if you look at the top right category, the high-level search category, imagine a situation where a child has been reported missing and possibly abducted, maybe at an outdoor festival. So in this kind of situation, time is of the essence. So getting that information out to your members, out to the community is really critical. You can use Axon Community Request to quickly create a portal where members of the public can easily share their evidence directly with your agency. Now, if someone shares an image of the suspect, maybe they've captured an image that shows their vehicle's license plate pretty clearly, that plate then can be uploaded to your agency's hot list and then immediately pushed out to your entire fleet of vehicles with Axon Fleet 3. With our built-in ALPR, then one of your patrol officers would get an alert letting the officer know that the vehicle in front of them, for example, it matches an entry in the hot list and is potentially the suspect in question. Your command can then live stream directly to that patrol vehicle, as well as any other patrol vehicles or body-worn cameras or even UAVs or drones that might be within the vicinity. And ultimately, the whole idea is to provide more access, more information in real time to help apprehend the suspect and then safely return the missing child to their family. So that's just one of many examples where Axon's technologies can help in some of these critical situations. And then finally, all of the evidence that's captured, for example, in that previous example, from the drones, from the in-car cameras, from body-worn cameras, from the community. All of that evidence can be uploaded, stored, and managed in one single and central cloud-based repository, which is Axon Evidence, our digital evidence management system. And then all of that evidence can then be packaged into a case for further investigation, and then even shared amongst partner agencies, and then eventually with the Crown as well. So to summarize, just to bring it all together within the Axon ecosystem, starting with our TASER conducted energy devices, we can help you to safely de-escalate situations. Our industry-leading cameras and sensors allow you to effectively capture an entire incident. Our comprehensive digital evidence management solution allows you to store, manage, and access your captured evidence from any different location. And then our AI technologies and Respond platform provide you with a greater situational awareness that helps deal with complex situations and allow you to act on more data in real time. If any of you are interested in learning more about what the various technologies that I touched on today, please feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to assist. So with that, I would like to thank you all for your time and hope you enjoy the rest of today's conference.